guys, and welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be checking this video out, a beginner guide to Eurovision Song Contest. I think you're both new to Eurovision. Have you done Eurovision version before? Have you seen
Russia.
it? No, Eurovision at large.
Yeah, I think last 2 years Eurovision.
Okay, so we're going to actually have created a few, but now this video does guide us through how everything is being done properly. Like, subscribe, share, and let's go.
Is a competition where various European and sometimes not European countries enter an original song, and then all of the countries vote for the best one. And frankly, it's quite wild.
Russia 2008. I like his voice.
Since its quite conservative
Whoa.
beginnings back in the 1950s,
Is that old?
it has evolved into a colourful display of politics, nonsense, also sometimes some pretty good music.
Oh, it's good.
So, particularly for the benefit of my mostly non-European viewers, let me introduce you to the weird and wonderful world of the Eurovision Song Contest. Now, particularly in recent decades, the contest has become known for its more eccentric performances. Some just a little quirky, some just a bit garish,
Sausage.
and some, well... eye-catching
This is nice.
Yes.
The songs that go on to win the contest are usually a bit more ordinary. Perhaps the most unusual act to ever win the contest was the Finnish hard rock group Lordi in the year 2006.
I love the
I'm saying they're unusual
costume.
just because of their demonic costumes. Lordi winning the contest was also unusual because they were playing rock music. Rock songs rarely make an appearance at Eurovision, let alone win. The only rock song that's won the contest was ZTE Buoni by Italian band Maneskin in 2021. The sort of songs that typically win the contest will usually have a dash of novelty in their performance.
Yeah,
Or
actually.
generally just be a pretty good, straightforward pop song. Toy by Netta, for example, which won the contest for Israel in 2018, does contain a brief chicken impression. But beyond that, it's a fairly standard and fairly catchy pop song. And also, side note, if you're thinking right now, that song sounds a lot like Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes, well, you're not alone. Universal Records also spotted the likeness, and after threatening legal action, Jack White was credited on the song. So, in a roundabout way, the White Stripes kind of co-wrote a Eurovision winning song. Nowadays, most Eurovision entries, including most winning songs, will tend to be sung in the English language, regardless of which country they're actually representing. But this is a fairly modern trend. For the first couple decades of the contest, every winning song was actually sung in the country's native language.
Yeah, actually. This is amazing.
The first winning song not to be sung in the act's native tongue was 1974's Waterloo, sung by Eurovision's greatest success story, ABBA.
Yeah. When I saw how, like, is that not ABBA?
I've never reacted to
Only
a
act,
song.
though, to have been launched to
that's
international
good song.
success by Eurovision. In 1988, a French-Canadian singer called Celine Dion represented Switzerland at Eurovision and won.
Wow, she attended Eurovision.
Oh,
Wow.
so yeah, this is something I was asking in my previous reaction. In this, a Finnish band actually represented for Sweden. So like somebody from another country can actually represent for another country, like
Because
Of course
yeah,
it's
she's
possible.
representing Switzerland, and I know she's not from Switzerland.
yeah. So like that's the part I actually don't understand, guys.
Celine Dion was already well known in her home country of Canada as a French language singer.
She's from
but it wasn't
Canada.
until after winning Eurovision that she started releasing English language music and became the global megastar that she is
Oh,
today.
this was
Another
before
now
fame.
household
Yeah.
name to appear in Eurovision.
This was before fame. Like
It
So,
was
so she usually sing in French. You know, Canada, they actually speak French there too.
okay.
Some French colonies are actually there. So she actually sing in French. I didn't even know this about her before.
Me too.
Yeah, wow.
But she's not originally from Switzerland, right?
Yeah,
No,
but
she's
she's
not.
representing them.
Vision before they had quite made it is Olivia Newton-John, who represented the UK in 1974. Much like with Celine Dion, in 1974, Olivia Newton-John was an established singer, but it would still be 4 years before she shot to global fame and starred in the film Grease. Now, if you're thinking, wait, how did Canadian Celine Dion represent Switzerland?
Yeah.
A Eurovision contestant doesn't have to be from the country
Oh.
that they are representing. For example, American rapper Flo Rida represented San Marino
How?
in 2021, alongside Italian singer Senya. Flo Rida is one of many established artists who made
Yeah.
an appearance at Eurovision. Although the song they perform at the contest must be a brand new composition, the performer doesn't have to be some little known or unknown artist. Many already very well established artists have appeared at Eurovision, including Cliff Richard, who represented the UK in 1968 and 1973.
Congratulations. And then some.
And Katrina and the Waves, who were known for their 1980s hit Walking on Sunshine, who won Eurovision for the UK in 1997.
I don't know this song. I was expecting.
The
I'm
country to
working
have
on
won Eurovision
sunshine.
twice is Ireland, and 3 of those Irish wins are actually thanks to one person, Johnny Logan. Johnny
But
Logan
really
is
good.
not only the only performer to have won Eurovision twice, performing Ireland's winning song in both 1980 and 1987, but he also composed Ireland's 1992 winning song.
Wow.
Ireland is also the only country to have won the contest 3 years in a row, winning Eurovision 92, 93 and 94.
Whoa.
In fact, some have speculated that in 1995,
One guy is
Ireland
behind it.
intentionally entered a lackluster song to avoid winning the contest a 4th time in a row. But why would a country not want to win Eurovision? Well, because the winning country has to host the next year's contest, and hosting Eurovision can be a very expensive thing to do.
Yeah,
Many
actually.
speculate that some of the more dreadful acts that have been put forward to Eurovision over the years were intentionally bad because the country didn't want to risk winning and therefore having to host the contest.
It's not funny.
Honestly.
This is particularly the case for the so-called Big Five. Although the main spectacle of Eurovision is the grand finale, most countries who enter the contest have to first qualify in a semi-final. But the Big Five, France, Germany, the UK, Spain and Italy, automatically qualify for the grand finale due to these countries' large monetary contribution to the running of the contest. This means that if one of those
Apologies. So even if you do well, you don't do well. So long as you're from the big 5, you automatically
Yes, like-
qualify for the semi-final.
It's actually funny.
So that if at all any of them win, they know that they are capable
Yeah.
of
Hosting the
organizing
next
and
one.
hosting the next.
It's looking funny though.
those Big Five don't want the hassle and expense of hosting Eurovision next year, they might intentionally enter a mediocre song. Now, the system by which countries are voted for has changed over the years, but is generally some sort of mix of a professional jury and votes from the general public. The rules and structure of Eurovision have changed many times during the contest's almost 70-year history. An interesting example of the rules having to change, actually, was after the 1969 Eurovision, where 4 different countries, the UK, Spain, the Netherlands and France, all won the contest. They were all joint winners of Eurovision. This is because they all scored the same amount of points, and no tiebreaker rule had been introduced to the contest yet. Needless to say, the next year a tiebreaker rule was introduced. Now, getting over 30 different countries to all compete against each other in a song contest is going to result in some politics. Of
Yeah,
course, it's
actually.
well known that certain countries will always vote favourably for their close allies. For example, Greece and Cyprus always vote for each other, and the UK and Ireland often swap votes. But more notably, in years where Eurovision takes place against more politically charged world events, you can often see those events reflected in the voting. For example, last year, Ukraine won Eurovision. And although their song was good, and Ukraine have won the contest before, it's probably not a coincidence that they won in the year 2022. Likewise, the first Eurovision Song Contest that took place after Brexit had completed, which was 2021, the UK scored the dreaded nil point.
And the United Kingdom gets
From the public, 0 points.
Why?
It's hard to tell conclusively how much politics is really influencing the voting. Maybe the UK's entry that year just wasn't very good. Sometimes I know my fire burns low, but as long as you're with me. For example, when the UK got nil part in 2003, some cited the UK's recent and controversial joint invasion of Iraq as the reason that the UK had received no points. But also that year, the UK's entry did sound like this. So maybe it's not all about politics.
Yeah, no.
Eurovision performances have
That one, I don't
often
think it's
been used
politics
as a
for that song.
platform
The
for
song was
raising
just
awareness
me.
and visibility of issues and causes. Perhaps most notably, Eurovision has increasingly become a fantastic champion of LGBT plus pride. Various openly LGBT acts have appeared at Eurovision. For example, drag queen Conchita Wurst won the 2014 contest for Austria. So that is Eurovision, a unique intersection between geopolitics and music, and one that never fails to surprise and entertain.
Yeah.
Of course, after winning last year's contest, by all rights, Ukraine should be hosting the competition this year. But
Yeah.
due to the current situation, last year's runner-up, the UK, is hosting it instead. And it's actually happening next week in Liverpool.
They'll be like, bloody hell,
who
mate.
is going to win this year?
Bloody hell, mate.
Oh.
It's lovely. It actually is lovely. Like, actually, this video just actually summarizes the whole questions I have.
Yeah.
Like, before, my major question was that person, like, representing another country. Like, I was like, okay, is it not supposed to be somebody from this country to represent this country? But, like, I guess it's just like football. How people from other
Other
countries
countries.
Can also
play for
play.
that
Yeah.
team, you get me? So, make more sense. And I didn't even know it was this deep, like, political. And the winner have to host it.
The big five.
The big five.
Whether you are in or you're not.
Or not.
I know England will be like, bloody hell, mate. Because actually they didn't come first and actually hosting it. And I'm just trying to imagine how the budget will be like, because have you watched Eurovisions?
They're always
Like, it's
very magnificent.
Very good,
The
very
stage,
perfect.
the performances, and then their costumes.
And
Yeah.
also their
And their
creativity
Yeah.
too.
So you know, like there's a lot of money backing
Yeah.
everything up. So I can just imagine them blowing hair right now. We didn't even confess. I'm like,
They're
paying for it.
hosting it.
Yeah. Is there anything this guy missed out from this video? Please tell us in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. I hope to see you in my next video. Stay safe and bye for now.